Can you see?
4.
Good. 4 is good.
Looks like 61. Wow.
All right. Yeah, Julia's helping me out, right, Julia?
See?
Right.
Hi, Julie. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you?
Excellent.
We have the brains of the outfit here now. That's good. Yeah. So,
Well, that's a good thing, you know.
Julia, am I sharing my screen right? Can you see it? Did I figure that out?
So far, so good.
All right. That's good. So, I think we'll end on a victory and call it a night. That'll be good. All right. Okay, I make that 7 o'clock. So why don't we go ahead and get started? All right. Julia, you're ready to monitor me at all times?
Always.
Okay, well, welcome everybody. It seems like we got a pretty good crowd here tonight. This will be our my first ever freshman parent orientation presentation. Originally, we were going to do this in the auditorium in front of everybody on 2 nights. But we're still under kind of the COVID watch here, so we went ahead and did yet another Zoom meeting. So, and I think Julia and April will probably tell you I'm not the Zoom whiz, but we're going to give it a shot tonight. And probably looking here, hopefully maybe 30, 45 minutes, and have a time for some time for question and answer period. And there'll also be some follow-up steps that I'll talk about too. So again, welcome, and I'll start going through the presentation. If you have any questions that you really want to suggest, you can put them in the chat. Julia's going to help me monitor that at the end of the presentation. We can read some of those off if you have any questions you have to ask. Or, you know, if there's enough people are left, you can raise your hands if we can find you that way as well too. We'll try to answer as many as you can. I will say this, it's just the beginning of the presentation. This is presentation I kind of wrote for the freshman parent orientation, and what it was is about, you know, what do I think every freshman kid should know coming into the building, freshman for a year, and what parents should understand. We're not going to be discussing really the COVID-19 plan. That's a whole different plan that's going before the board, you know, the superintendent and the assistant superintendent, Basha Keeler, do the majority of the communication on those things as well too. So except for kind of describing how the schedule is going to work this year and how open house is going to be, and a walkthrough night at the end of the presentation we'll talk about, I'm not really going to be spending a lot of time talking about the COVID-19 or the Pirate Virtual Academy. That's a separate topic, and those communications will come from Rick and Basha. And it's not really the principal's role to talk about that. So, and of course that information continues to come out as we move through that process. So with that being said, you know, this is welcome to high school. Hopefully we have some freshmen there watching. I see a couple freshmen there I'm looking at right now and their parents. 2 goals this evening that I really wanted to accomplish. 1, provide a very basic overview of what to expect your freshman year, and just hit on some very basic concepts, but you know, these are things that I want you to understand about what your freshman life is going to be like. And the other one is really just to share some ideas that I think, you know, every freshman should know. So we'll talk about the academic and the schedule pieces. And then we're going to talk a little bit about those things that, gee, you know, at the end of last year, I wish I would have told the students coming into the high school what I think they should know before they came in, probably solve some problems moving forward in the future. So those are our 2 goals, and then to answer some questions. So really, I just want to start off introducing our PCHS administration team, and they can jump in and say hi as they're here. First one I'll tell you is Julia McBride, who's our Director of High School Instruction and Director of New Tech High. Julia is the brains of the outfit. She is the one who goes into all the research. She runs our school improvement process. She runs our professional development. She works on the curriculum pieces, the teacher assessment pieces, and partnership pieces. She literally is the brain of the high school. And over the last couple of years, our SAT scores have gone up. Our graduation rates have gotten better. Everything about the school has been trending in performance, and everything's been trending since Julia got here. So, you know, again, every high school should have a Julia McBride, but we're the only one. So, Julia, do you want to say hi to everybody?
Boy, oh boy. Thank you for that, Les. Hi, everybody. As Les said, I'm Julia. I'm Julia McBride. It's good to see a couple of familiar faces there. Really looking forward to meeting all of our incoming freshmen, and so glad so many were able to join us tonight. So yeah, my goal is just to make sure that, you know, every student graduates ready for whatever it is they want to do after Pinckney Community High School, and to have it be a really caring and enriching process along the way. So thanks,
Okay.
guys.
Oh, you got Julia. And second one I'd like to introduce is our assistant principal, April Woods. And April has more experience than any of us here at the high school. She's the one that helps keep us safe. She helps with the discipline polices, but she also is the one that makes sure every senior graduates and hounds them and make sure they got what they have. And she works with the counseling department to make sure we dot our I's and cross our T's. And so our students, she's the one who pushes the most for student success and really pushes them forward to make the best out of themselves. And she also knows everything there is to know about high school, which makes her just an invaluable resource. We couldn't do anything without April, and I'm delighted that she's here with me and has kind of been my mentor, taking me along, teaching me a lot of high school this past year. But April is that go-to person. The kids love her. They go to her. They know her. And again, the graduation rate success we had would be impossible without April. She's also the special education guru and the scheduling guru, and I still haven't figured out how to set up a lunch schedule, but I just know April does it. So April, I'm glad you're here. If you're here, April, do you want to say hi?
Yes, hello, thanks. It's so good
Oh,
to
there
be
she
here.
is.
Yeah, here I am. So good to be here, and I can't wait to see you all in person when we start school. So welcome, good to see you all, and see you soon in person.
Great. So, and then me, I'm me. So lead principal here at the high school, and I get to, I surround myself with really smart people and take some of the credit. That's my modus operandi. That's how we work. But again, it's wonderful to see you guys. I really wish we were in person in the auditorium. I wish I could high five and shake hands. I've got some former third graders at Country now that are students coming up freshman year. I want to reconnect with them. But, you know, we're getting close. In another month, we'll physically be in the same school together. Most of us will be, or we'll still be connecting online. So things are getting back. We're going to put our teachers and our principals and our kids and our staff together relatively soon. And so we're kind of looking forward to that. So not speaking for myself, best administration team I think we have anywhere. And I'm really excited that we're going to be able to bring some students back in here and start school again. Couple of quick little things I want to mention now is really about, we're going into some things that I think that just the nuts and bolts of high school. If you've already had a kid go through high school, you probably already know this, if you researched already, but really just want to touch on over the next 4 years, what a student has to accomplish. Because when we get further on in this presentation, we're going to spend a lot of time talking about what are the things that make this successful, and what are something getting away from success that I want the students and the parents to know. And again, I put this together, so I'm sure if it's off a little bit, I want Julia and April to chime on in, because I got this from the Michigan Merit Curriculum, but there are some subtle changes in what you can do for a fourth year math credit and some of the visual art credit. So if you want to jump in as I'm presenting this, April and Julia, please do so. But basically, at Pinckney Community High School, you got 4 years, you need 26 credits to graduate. We have a 7-hour day right now, which means that you have the potential to earn 28 credits. In 4 years. That's if you take all 7 classes and get all your credit. And it also means that, you know, if you got 2 to give, if something happens, but you need those 26 credits to graduate at the end of 4 years. And again, it's 3.5 a semester, or 7 for a year. So coming in your freshman year, leaving here in 9 months and 10 months, every freshman should walk out of here with 7 credits. That's the goal. 18 of those credits are part of the Michigan Merit Curriculum. And basically what the state of Michigan says is that every high school has to offer 18 of these credits. You have to offer these. You cannot graduate. You can have 40 credits, but if you don't have all your 18, you're not going to be awarded a Michigan high school diploma. And so every student needs 4 math credits, which is 4 solid years of math. You get a semester as a half a credit. 4 credits in English language arts. 3 in science, including biology. That's an important one you have to have in there. 3 social studies credits, which includes U.S. government history, which is a big one for your freshman year. And the math credit is going to be Algebra 1. That's your first. You have to have Algebra 1, Geometry, then Algebra 2, and then a 4th math credit is kind of fielder's choice. You can kind of pick what you want. Students that came out of Pathfinder with Algebra 1 already go right into geometry. So, and then they take Algebra 2, and then they got 2 credits they can pick out. You need 3 social studies credits. We talked about, again, that'll be U.S. government here, and most people will be U.S. government as freshmen, and that's U.S. government and I think geography, correct? And then you're going to need at least 1 visual performing arts credit, and then 1 PE and health credit, and then 2 world language credits. So even if you had a Spanish 1 or French 1 in 8th grade, that can count towards that requirement, but you don't get credit for it. So basically, you're coming in your freshman year, you're starting off with a blank slate. You need 26 credit, 18 merit credit, and you can do up to 7 a year. And we're going to talk a little bit later about credit recovery, which means if you don't pass a class for one reason or another, you have to go through a process of taking the class again and recovering that credit. Because we really want to get you to 26 and those 18 merit curriculums before you go ahead and graduate. So did that sound, Julia, how'd that sound? Was that okay?
Yeah, no, that was spot on. Just to clarify with social studies, the 9th grade history class is U.S. history.
U.S.
Not
history
US,
and
not U.S. government. Government.
U.S.
will
history.
come
I'm sorry.
later.
Yep.
So that's
There you
okay.
go. Yeah. So again, you got to have the brains or you're in big trouble here. So that's okay. You know, coming into your freshman year, you know, we have to take advantage of who we are. Okay. And it's important for our freshmen to connect with our teachers and our high school staff. You know, it's a 4-year relationship. And, you know, we are a small school now. You know, we're getting close to around 900 kids. And we're graduating 250, 210, and we've got 160, 170, 140 coming up from Pathfinder. That's a wonderful thing in a lot of ways because we are a small school and we can build these relationships and connect to these students. This is really important to us. And we also have almost like small schools within a school, like our New Tech program, as they leave their freshman year and their sophomore year if they want to go into New Tech. What we are pushing here and what we're getting known for is community, that we are together. So I want all the freshmen when they're coming up here to really kind of experience that. So it's our goal as administrators and teachers and staff to really get to know them, spend time with them. And there's a couple things that we do to kind of make that happen. You know, you could have your child in Plymouth Canton and there's 2,600 students on one campus, or Pioneer, or a large school, but small schools have the advantage of really connecting in a meaningful way. And that's important for us as well too. So I'm hoping by the end of this year, you as parents and you as freshman students, at the end of the year say, you know what, being a pirate means something. My principal knows me. My administration knows me. My teachers know me. They care about me. They're there. They're engaged. They ask me questions. They see me in the hallway. They see me before school. They sit down with me in the lunch table and talk to me. That's what we do here at Pinckney Community High School. And that's what we want to provide for your students as well. So small community, close, meaningful relationships is going to be our goal. So next, in that vein, we do have a program that we call Pirate Academy. And boy, I mean, in April, you know more about this, and you could probably talk more about this. But all of our freshmen coming in, they have some things in common. One is they're freshmen. They're 13, 14, sometimes 15 years old, and they're thrown into this world of older kids in a big system. And so we try to shrink their world down so we can build those relationships and make those connections that we want to. So basically what we'll do is that, and we know that almost all of our freshmen will be taking Algebra 1. A handful will be taking geometry because they had Algebra 1 in 8th grade, but most of them will have Mr. Brashler or Mr. Herman for Algebra 1. Most of our students will be taking Earth Science or have enrolled in our honors biology class with Mr. Reason. And we'll also have kids in ELA 9th with Mrs. Elmy, our English teacher actually came up from Pathfinder that our students will know. Or it is U.S. history and geography, not U.S. government. See, I wrote down the right one, Julia. I just don't talk right. And I'll be with Coach Beaton. So we concentrate those teachers upstairs close together. and the freshmen will be up there. And what we do is we shrink their world a little bit so they're not getting lost in the herd. And that this team of teachers works with us as administrators, and we meet and we get to know these kids. What do they need to challenge them academically? What do they need to do next in their careers? How are we going to help them? Which kids are having some emotional troubles making this adjustments? Which kids are getting lost that we have to go ahead and kind of pull up to the front? How can we scaffold support for these kids? So this team of teachers and administrators work together through the entire freshman year to really get to know these kids really well. And so that's what your students will be experiencing as well. So most of their classes will be upstairs. They'll be almost all freshmen. There won't be hardly any juniors or seniors or sophomores up there. There'll be just them, and they'll have these teachers. And these teachers will be able to meet with them and get to know them, and the similar lunch schedule and all these pieces. So Pirate Academy is something that we do to really make sure we get off to a good start with these kids, and we're providing that support, that love, the care that they need their freshman year. Did I get the names right, guys? April and Julia? I think I did, right?
You did. The only thing I would add would be, you did a great job. The only thing I would add is about Link Crew, our upperclassmen that are there to support the freshmen. We have a group of students that will be assigned to each and every freshman so that they will have like a mentor, upperclassman they can ask questions of and be a go-to person. I do believe you had that in, some of you might have been that in 8th grade where you mentored the 7th grade students. It's similar to that with upperclassmen that will help you kind of stay on track your high school year and just answer those questions that you might want to know about homecoming or Winterfest or just anything that's going on in the building that you might want to ask up here about.
Okay. Yep, good point. Yep, and Link Crew, am I correct, April, is going to start really big second semester, right?
Yes.
This year, yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Normally it starts first semester, but the rollout with the COVID is going to make it a little different. So yeah, and that will start probably in January and probably some pre-activities before then, right?
Yes, they normally go in the classrooms and get kids excited for things that are coming up throughout the year. So they'll see them, they'll see them more second semester.
Okay, yep, great. So, you know, talking a little bit about the academic piece and where we're going to be going here, looking to the future, you know, it's really, your freshman year is about building that foundation. And when you're in Pirate Academy, you know, it's so important that our students are successful in their courses. You know, they need to pass and do well in Algebra 1. They need to do well in U.S. history and geography. They need to do well in these classes because now we start deciding, after leaving our freshman year, we start having some really good conversations about, you know, where do you want to go with your child, or you as a student, where do you want to go? Our goal is college and career ready for every single student. 4 years, you'll walk out of here right now, and if you choose to, you have a path, the next step in your life, whether it's going to a university or community college or earning a degree there and something you're interested in, or whether you're going to go be a firefighter, or you're going to go right into robotics, or if you're going to go into cybersecurity, if you're going to go work for a firm right off the bat. The idea is that if we don't end your career here, this is the end game, your last 4 years, 13 years of public ed, this is your last 4 as a student, you'll walk out of here and you have something you're going to want to do. And so what we're trying to do here is build opportunities on vertical stacks for you to start making these decisions. So your freshman year, especially with Link Crew and talking to the older students, talking to your counselors, talking to your advisors, talking to the administrators, your teachers, you got to start thinking through your freshman year, where do I think I want to go, what path I want to take? They're all great paths. Our goal is to set you up to make you as successful in all these avenues as we can. And we're working really hard as a leadership team and as an instructional team here to really build some strong vertical stacks over 4 years of classes you'll take. And we'll talk about that a little bit later in the presentation. But you know, if your goal is to matriculate to a top 4-year college or a university or a community college and then go on to a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, you know, we do an excellent job providing all those coursework for college prep that you want. We have a very rigorous advanced placement program classes that you can take when you're upperclassmen. Some of them as early as sophomores, which is possible. Honors coursework, community engagement pieces so you can build on your resume for your college application, things that you need, whether it's student government or National Honor Society or the clubs or the athletics or the sports. The idea is that we should have a menu of things that you can take advantage of that directly position yourself to get ready for your next step in college. And we do. And we have students that are remarkably successful that we're really proud of. And that's for students who really say to themselves, that's my goal. That's kind of what I want to go with, right? And our Pinckney New Tech High. And I know Julia's going to be doing presentations in your freshman year towards the end, because sophomore year you have to decide if you want to do that. That's another avenue and a whole nother small school within our school designed to really maximize your potentials when you graduate, all the opportunities that you have. Career ready. Some of our students say, you can walk out of Pinckney Community High School and go right into a job being a firefighter and joining the CT and the LATEC consortium and doing that as well. We have a nationally renowned robotics program, took 3rd place in the nation last year. Every year they're 1st, 2nd, or 3rd place. Our autos department, our metal arts and industrial arts department. We really are proud of the business and marketing program we're building here as well too. If you say, hey, I want to be an accountant, I want to be an entrepreneur, I want to go in my business, you can take marketing, intro to marketing, you can take sports marketing, fashion marketing, intro to business, accounting, later on in your career, maybe virtual enterprises classes, applied economics. So if you want to leave high school and be able to have a good business foundation. So whatever you decide to do in your career, someday you may want to own your own business or have that acumen that's there for you too. So the idea is getting all these pieces together. And then the third piece we do is kind of these connecting programs. You can go as a freshman, you can decide, hey, you know what? I would like to go 5 years in school instead of 4, and I would like to leave high school with a college degree, my associate's degree. So if you think about college degrees, you've got your associate's, which is typically called a 2-year degree, then your bachelor's is your 4-year degree, and then another 2 years for master's, and then on up into your PhD. You can actually have an associate's degree at early middle college, and the tuition's paid for by Pinckney Community Schools. You could go in the dual enrollment, where you can go ahead and take college classes at the same time you're here, earn the college credit at Washtenaw Community, Lansing Community, Eastern, the DEEP program, which is listed on there too, at University of Michigan Flint. And for the most part, the school will pay for the tuition for you to go to college. So we have all these things available to you, but as freshmen, you have to understand, you have to have a successful freshman year. That's why we have Pirate Academy. That's why we have Link Crew. That's why we pay so much attention to, because get those 7 credits and start that merit curriculum, start that rolling, so that when you get to be a sophomore and a junior, you can start taking advantage of these programs. And again, we'll talk about, trying to build a good vertical stack, and sometimes starting in your freshman year or getting ready for your sophomore year. So if you want to take robotics, if that's your future in history, you've got Robotics 1, Robotics 2, CAD designing. You're going to have about 3 years to 4 years of stacking up these classes, so when you graduate, you're ready. Firefighter EMT, starting your junior year and your senior year. Autos, small engines, Autos 1, Autos 2, metals, industrial tech, cosmetology, cybersecurity, business and marketing, the arts. If you come in the high school and say, I want to be a medical illustrator, I want to be an artist, I want to be a media creation consultant, digital consultant. You come in and do drawing 1, drawing 2, drawing 3, drawing 4, ceramics. You can build up these vertical stacks over the next 4 years that you want to do. All these things and more are available to you as freshmen. Again, making that transition from middle school to high school, in a few minutes we're going to talk about how important that is. It's really jumping into your freshman year and buckling down and saying, I'm going to make this work. So, what's new for 2021? And we talk about, and I mentioned earlier, and I introduced Julia in April, the goal is to constantly get better. And as we become smaller, becoming stronger and mightier and getting ahead of the game. So you're the class that's going to graduate in 4 years. So we've already made some changes this year, getting ready for you to make you even more successful than happened in the past. We looked at our honors curriculum. If you really want an honors and an AP and you're going through a college prep track, you know, you've been able to take Algebra 1 in 8th grade and go right into geometry as a freshman. You can go into honors English ELA 9. Now you can go into, we created a class for honors biology. You have to have a biology credit as one of your 3 science credits. But now when we have almost 80 kids signed up for this right now, you can go into honors biology, and then it frees you up as a junior and a senior for your electives can be AP physics, AP chem, AP biology. You can do dual enrollment and take other science classes. It allows you the freedom as you're a junior and senior to pick more electives that are designed to build up your college resume and earn credit while you're still in high school. So we're really kind of proud of how we're starting to create even more opportunities for our freshmen coming in here as well. We changed some of our prerequisites also as freshmen coming in. It used to be that you had to take elements of art, and remember you need that you need that credit of visual performing arts before you can take drawing 1, ceramics, photography, and then access some of the visual arts curricula in the CTE program. We kind of sat there and said, you know what? If you really want to start with drawing 1 as a freshman, let's go for it. Because then you might want to take drawing 2 and drawing 3 and drawing 4, and we can start building that stack for you. You really want to try ceramics, and you don't want to do elements art, which is a great class, but we want to make sure that in the 4 years you have a chance to build a ceramic stack, build a photography stack, build a drawing and painting stack, really build up. If you're really into art, that's your thing, you have an opportunity now to do that sooner and better. We used to have a class called IT Systems that was required for all freshmen, but hey, we want to free up some of these other options for you. So we still have that class, but we did make it a required class. And we added an introductory to marketing class as well too, because if you're really thinking about business and marketing, as a freshman now, you can take intro to marketing, and you can move into fashion and sports marketing, and eventually in the VEI and some of the other higher business courses. You can start that earlier, so when you get down to the end game, things get better. And then I think, so those are some of the things that we kind of changed this year that are kind of new curriculum-wise to give you as freshmen more opportunities and a better chance to even be more successful than you have in the past. And then we've also created what we call, and did I get it right? We're calling it the Link High School, right, April? Did I get that right?
Yes, you're right. It's called The Link, A Pathway to Success is the full name, but for short, The Link.
Yeah, so that's our new alternative ed program. And I'll have April jump in on this one because she's leading this program, done a great job with it. You know, some freshmen are going to do it well. Some freshmen are going to say, you know, maybe traditional high school they're really struggling with, or it's not their basic cup of tea. We've created a separate high school now within Pinckney Community Schools at Pathfinder that allows students to say, listen, you know, I want to choose my own path to my high school diploma. And so now they have an opportunity with Michigan Virtual Essentials to go online, have a mentor, work there. And so at the end of your freshman year, you're saying, listen, I want to get my diploma. I want to get the merit curriculum. I want to get a high school diploma. And I want to get moving. That opportunity is available for you as well, too. So, you know, we'll let you know we have those opportunities. And sometimes we'll go to freshmen halfway through the year and say, listen, let's think about getting you out. And then you can work at your own pace and get out sooner. But that's an opportunity that our students have now that they didn't have in the past, quite this way and quite this organized. And that's something that Ms. Woods has been handing up to and done a fantastic job. We're really excited about this, right, April?
Yes, really excited about being able to offer that opportunity.
Yep. So, and I'm standing there right now because it has the coolest backdrop in the school, and I'm furthest away from the police when they show up because I set the alarm off. You know, getting help. You're a freshman, you're a parent. The Student Family Service Center is where I'm sitting right now, and right in that picture, I'm right over there. This is where our counselors and our student family specialists work in the building. And you're a freshman, you're a teenager, even when you're a sophomore and junior, you have to know this. Man, being an adolescent, being a teenager, especially this in day and age, wow, I've got 2 adolescents at home. I've got a 10th grader and 11th grader, so I know what's headed your way if you're your first-time parent coming up through teenage years. But they're there to help your students. Sometimes they're feeling blue. Sometimes they're not feeling their best and they need to talk something out. The Student Family Center is there for them. Leslie, our new student family specialist, I know she was going to be here tonight. She might be out there in the crowd too. You know, she's coming up from Pathfinder. She knows most of these kids, and now she's going to be heading up that, the student family specialist department here at the high school as well too. We have 2 new counselors or academic counselors, and everyone's going to be working together. So again, small school, caring, connected, getting to know you, meeting all your students' needs. So I really would suggest spending some time in the Student Family Center, getting to know our people in there. Asia Perales is one of our new counselors. She's dynamite. Leslie is just fantastic. I can't believe I get an opportunity to work with her this year. She's just so wonderful and kind. She's already calmed me down, and that's not easy to do. She's done a great job with me. Imagine what she could do with your 14-year-old. So this is the Student Family Center. And these are the people that are really going to come together for the next 4 years and play a big role in your child's life and making sure that they're happy, they're smart, and they're safe. And they do a great job with that as well, too.
Thanks, Les. This is Miss Medell. I'm happy to be here.
Hi, Leslie. How you doing?
Good.
I went back to your slide if you want to say something.
I'm good. Just really excited to be here. Thanks for all the kind words.
Yeah,
Looking forward
she's awesome.
everybody.
Yeah, and she brought donuts the other day too, I think, her and Asia, so that was good too. So in light of that, we're talking about the emotional health of your child, and Leslie can jump in on this well too. You know, your freshman is so important to find your tribe. I mean, who are your props, your people? I really would recommend getting involved in something here at the high school. You have to have some type of connection, some type of cord that binds you. Athletics, drama, student government, clubs, music, National Honor Society, esports, and there's so much more. I really would recommend talking to your child, or if you're a freshman listening to this, find something, Act One drama, something like that, that you can build a sense of friendships and people that you know that share your interests and share your values, and you can be connected to them. It's really kind of important. You can get lost in a high school. You can be on your own and kind of drift around a little bit. We may have to come up to you and say, hey, we want to try this. You would be great at this, or you would be great at that. But we put so much on the table for you to choose from. Really start thinking about finding that tribe. That gives you a positive experience, great friendships, good connectivity, people that you know, having fun. Because high school is about learning. It's about achievement, and it's about credit. And it's also about being safe, and it's also about having fun and enjoying your high school years. You only have your freshman, it's the only time you have, this next 4 years is the only time you're gonna have for this ride. And when it's over, you wanna be able to sit there and say, I had a great time. I can't wait for what comes next. But man, I really enjoyed myself at Pinckney Community High School. So I'm just putting that in your ear. Think about finding your tribe. And Leslie and the counselors and administration and teachers can help you find one. There's a lot of great stuff to do. A little bit about the block schedule, what you would expect. I went ahead and I simplified our version from the Excel sheet just to show you. So now with COVID-19, what we want to do is we're trying to cut down. We have a 7-hour day, which means we have 6 medial transitions, not counting lunch, for kids in the hallway. Obviously, we want to cut down on that as much as possible. Every high school in the county, I think, has gone to a block schedule. We are too. Every high school in the state's basically going to it. So what that means is that the classes are longer and they don't meet every day. So instead of your freshmen going, 50 minutes to this class and 50, then 50, then 50, lunch, and 50 and 50 and 50, they'll go to their first hour on Mondays and Wednesdays, as well on Tuesdays and Thursdays, because we have a 7-hour day, so we had to spread out the first hour. So basically every day they'll be going to 4 classes. First hour every day, and then on Mondays and Wednesdays they'll go to second hour between 8:30 and 10:10, and then on Tuesdays and Thursdays they'll go to the 5th hour. So they'll basically, except for their first hour, be meeting their classes twice a week. So they have Algebra 1, second hour. They'll see Mr. Brashler from 8:30 to 10:10 every Monday and Wednesday. And at the same time, they'll be in their 5th hour on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So this is basically how our schedule looks. That third hour is really long because embedded within that third hour is a 30-minute lunch and a 10-minute transition. So they may have that 10:10 to 12:40 period. They may go to class and then go to lunch. They may go to class, go to lunch, and then go back to that class, or they may go to the class and go to that lunch. This year, we're going to have 5 lunch periods, a half hour each, just so we can accommodate cleaning the tables during COVID-19 between every lunch. And hopefully that'll go back to 3 lunches, because boy, 3 hours of lunch duty is my hair might fall out. But that's how we're going to go ahead. So I just want to give you a basic understanding as parents and students, kind of what your schedule is going to be. You're going to see this again. I just want to go through it tonight and just say, because you'll be hearing from all the COVID plans and our plans to get back into school, a lot of talk about a block schedule. This is a block schedule, and this is how it will look. And again, it's a little more complicated than that, but I made a simple table version for this presentation. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, is getting on to the second part of our goal tonight is, just what I want every freshman to understand, in high school is different. It is different in some very significant ways than middle school, 8th grade to 9th grade. And it's important, I think, for our students to understand that. And I'll kind of give you an example why I'm talking about this tonight. My first year here, we would have April and I and Julia, we would have juniors kind of come into our office going their junior year, and they'd be saying, I don't know what to do this year, what classes I'm going to take. And we'd look at their schedule and they'd have like 1 credit or half a credit. And when they were in middle school, failing a class was bad, but it didn't affect your ability to go on to high school. High school is different. It's the credits you earn that dictate how far you got through high school, not the passage of time. So it's really important for our students to understand that. Most of our students, this is not an issue for them. They've been successful before, they're going to be successful again. But you make a mistake on the bus, you swear at a bus driver, something like that, you get suspended for a week or 2 weeks, you can't come to school. It's bad, it's horrible, your grades are affected. In our attendance policy, if you miss too many days, you can't earn credit and you can't pass the class. High school is different. So excessive absences can lead to the loss of that credit. And it doesn't mean you go on to your junior year and you still only need to get those 7 credits. Those 7 credits, you miss a credit, you got to make it up. And we'll talk about that in a minute. That's a whole different ball of wax that you want to do. So we really want to avoid that. It's really important for you as students to understand this matters now. This is different, okay? If you go if you fail a class, or if you get a unsatisfactory due to absences or suspensions or anything happens that way, you have to take the class again online. Your parents have to pay a significant amount of money, and you're going to have to pass that either at home after your schedule here or on weekends or over the summer. And so it's not like you fail it, oh shucks, I'm going to move on with my life, I won't do that again. You got to get the credit. So I just want to make sure every freshman understands that, and every freshman parent can understand that as what they do. The other one is, this is your transcript for life now, right? Your GPA. This is the hardest thing sometimes for me to say, but the rules for 18-year-olds apply for the same as 14-year-olds. Your grade now matters at the end of your high school, your transcript, your grade point average. If you're really trying to get into a good college, you're going to have to really make sure you keep those grades have to be up. But now you have it, it's part of your record. And so that's something else to remember too. I was an elementary and an early middle school principal for 11 years before I came back to Pinckney to be a principal. And it's not like that at those grade levels, right? You can, nobody remembers, there's no such thing as a permanent record when you're 10. There is at 14, something that you have to know. And that's the thing about your record. It's good and it's bad. It's good if things go well. It can be bad if they don't. So let's not let them go bad. The real tragedy for me is when a student will come up to me and say, I didn't know. I'm here now, but I had no idea. That is on me as a principal. So my goal this year is to make sure every incoming freshman knows. They can't come back and say, I didn't know the score. I understand the playing field, right? Most of your classes as freshmen are going to be in a sequence. Algebra 1, geometry, algebra 2. All right? If you're not successful in algebra 1, you're going to have to do it again before you go on the geometry. So you got to remember that most of your classes outside electives are built in a hierarchy. So freshman year, you got to get those done because that's your foundation. If you can make it through your freshman year and hit on all cylinders and get those credits, you are golden. We can do anything with you. So we're going to spend a lot of attention to your freshman year, making sure you're successful. You may regret it. You may not like when I call you into my office and sit down with you and say, hey, I'm looking at your grades the first 4 weeks of school. Let's have a conversation. You got to blah, blah, blah. I'm not doing it to be mean. We're doing it because we care, and we got to make sure we get you on track. Success is everything for us to make sure you get through your freshman year. If you get through your freshman year, the odds of you graduating and going to college or going career ready are immensely improved. So those are some of the things that you can be. So I don't want you to be that student going into their sophomore and junior year, and then we have to sit down and say, now what are we going to do? We got to find some way else to get you here. This isn't going to work. So freshman year is it for us. So, we're going to be on you like, like a glue on a stick. We're there. We're not going to back off. And so you got to understand that it's not because we love and we want you to be successful. So this is it. You left 8th grade, you had your summer break. When you're coming in here as a 9th grader, it's 0 to 60. It's game on. It is wonderful. It's difficult and delightful. It's hard and rewarding. It's a lot of those things, and you got to understand that. The other thing I want to talk a little bit is understanding the student code of conduct, at the high school level. Okay, the stakes are higher here as well too. Read that student handbook. It's important now. It was important in middle school. It's really important now, okay? You have to have that knowledge. You have to understand the playing field, okay? Again, I really struggle sometimes when a 9th grader will come up and they would have done something that they think, oh boy, I'm bad, but I'll get over it. And you're like, well, wait a minute. No, this is on your record now. It's really kind of important. Let's go back to that idea of this is your record, and it's on there, and it can be impactful. It can be impactful on your college applications. It can be on your military applications. It can be impactful in a lot of different ways. So our goal is really, one is learn the rules. Second of all, follow them and learn to be successful within that ground. And the other thought, and we're going to talk a little bit about social media, is this idea of when we talk about jurisdiction and accountability. If something happens outside of school that impacts school, we have the jurisdiction and the right to take action. So if your child is being cyberbullied and the other student who's doing it is like, hey man, I did it on Snapchat, I did it at home, you can't do anything. Oh yes, we can. If you do something outside of school that impacts your another child, we have the right, and we will work on that, because in loco parentis, we are in place of the parents when they're in school today, and if it affects us. So if your kid, something happens outside of school and now your kid's being bullied or your kid's being picked on or something's happened and your child can't come to school emotionally, or they're scared of another kid, or they're really upset about it, we need to know about that, because we do have jurisdiction over those things, and we'll take action on that. So it's not just 7 hours a day. We can expand kind of we're the role. We're here. You're here to keep your child safe and happy. We're here to keep them safe and happy too. And you'd be surprised how those can intersect, and they do. And so, and I usually kind of characterize behaviors in 2 ways. If somebody's behaving in a way that impacts their own learning, that's horrible, because we're here to learn. We're high school. That's bad. If they're behaving in a way that impacts other people's ability to learn, now it's even worse. So if your child can't attend school and is having trouble being happy, learning, and being safe here, we need to know about that. Just because it may have happened outside of school doesn't mean that we shouldn't know about it. If it's impacting student learning, it's our business. And the other piece I really want to talk about too is disciplinary records. And I think this was new to me this year. In April, you can probably talk a little bit more about this too, but kids will get through their 4 years of college, 4 years of high school, and they'll apply for a college. And the college will come to us and say, well, they weren't in NHS, which means, why didn't they be National Honor Society? They had a 4.0. It must have been their behavior, because you can't be in NHS unless you have its character and service. Or they'll pay, no, you may not look at my disciplinary in their college applications. We, by law, have to provide that with them. And we have students come into our office at the end of the school year, their senior year, and they're like going, can I see a copy of my discipline record? Yeah, sure. Pull it up on my, start printing it off. And there's a whole list of these things that they did, which were not very smart choices. And they're going, I didn't know. I didn't know that this would impact my ability to get a scholarship or my ability to get into college. It will. So I want freshmen to understand that. It's really important to know that you got to understand that if it happened in middle school, it happened in middle school. It happens here, it's much more impactful. High school is different. So I'm hoping there's some kids hearing this today. And what I will do is I will share these same thoughts with every freshman the first couple weeks of school. I'm going to be visiting every Pirate Academy class and talking to every freshman student, having the same talk to make sure everyone hears and understands. You got to know. You can't come to me in 4 years and say, I didn't know. We're going to let you know. And it's important. And the shocking part is that you can do something at 14 or 15 that impacts you down the road. Is that right? God, I wish it wasn't, but it is. And that's part of the deal we have to deal with too as well.
Dr. Sharon, just
Yeah.
one thing I was going to add to that, just thinking a lot about your digital citizenship, because that's also things that colleges will be looking at when they're looking at behavior. One of the first things they do is they look at your social media and, just how you're showing up on those platforms as well. So I just wanted to put that in there as just a side note, as to keep that in mind.
Yep, absolutely. And Mr. Warlow and I were having a conversation with a student that was has struggled as a freshman and now was realizing, oh my gosh, I want to get into NHS. And this kid's a smart kid, top of his grade, points 4.0. But finally, he got the message later that we have to talk about these things. And the athletic director and I were talking about, hey, same thing. And we're going to talk about it right now, social media. You cannot unring a bell. And April's right. If your kid's going to go in the high school or college athletics or a really college, they will search your social media profile to see, because they're competitive. There's 100 people waiting for that scholarship. Let's make sure that we're not giving it to somebody who's not going to be successful and represent our values. So we do talk about being a good digital citizens and the pitfalls of social media. And coming from kindergarten and first grade, this was a big eye-opener for me this year. And April kind of took me through what happens here. But let's face it, freshmen, teenagers don't exercise always the best judgment on social media. Snapchat, TikTok, all these things. Hey, it's part of our life. We get it. It's not going anywhere. I have 2 teenagers. Even if we could control it, we wouldn't. But you as students have to understand, and you as parents have to understand, is that this is impactful. You wouldn't be surprised about how much discipline is wrapped around social media in high school. I was really surprised about it too. And again, let's go back to it. If your son or daughter is being cyberbullied, okay, be smart about it. You're going to report it to us. But especially if it's Snapchat or one of those disappearing media, take a screenshot of it, save the video, put your phone up to the other phone and record it for us, collect the evidence, let us know. If something's really happening that's alarming you and alarming your child that you want our help dealing with, collect the evidence. It's the one thing important I have to do. And the other thing is that, like I said, you have to really be careful about these things. They don't understand that the picture lasts forever. Right? And it really does. So, and the comments that they make, if a student goes on TikTok and makes a racially insensitive video that's going to make our students of color here feel uncomfortable coming to school, we're dealing with that. We have to. Again, it happened at home, but it affects the learning environment here at the high school. We have jurisdiction. So if you're a victim of these types of things, don't suffer in silence. we have every one of these issues is an opportunity to teach a kid how to be a good digital citizen, right? And we learn by mistakes, but that is something that's really kind of important. And the word has to get out. If you're going to be mean and cruel, and if you're going to hurt somebody, we're here. We're going to find the victim. We're going to have that victim's back. They have to understand that we're in place of that too. So, as you're a student, and I will talk to every freshman about this as well too, going into the details of some of the things that happened. I won't go into it tonight, but they have to understand that, hey, this is impactful, and that we do find out. And when we do, we have to take action. So just food for thought, something that I think it needs to be mentioned. And again, we'll address this with all of our freshmen as well. So getting towards the end, what kind of comes next with COVID-19? We couldn't meet tonight in person. And I like that. But especially if you've never been to the high school before, and if you're a freshman, you got to be able to find your way around campus. We want you to come in and look at it. So on September 3rd, I'm going to be here in the building all day for 6 or 7 hours. And I want freshmen and their families, if you can come in, there will be protocols on masks and checking your health and all those things, and that will come out later. But we want to give you an opportunity on September 3rd to come in here and walk around the building. Oh, there's Mr. Brasher's classroom. Oh, there's the office. There's the student family specialist. Teachers won't be here, the doors will be locked, whatever, but it's just a chance to get familiar with the campus. So we will give you that opportunity to do that, and I would like to do it on September 3rd. So don't worry about writing that down. We'll send out more details to you as we get closer to that day and we figure out how we're going to do it. September 1st, Julia, I hope that's right, we're going to have our virtual open house. Is that the day we decided on? Maybe. But that will be, I think it is, it's tentative. But open house this year is going to be on Zoom. So you will be at home clicking on, you'll have a time period for every hour of your student for 7 hours, and you'll click on that time period on the teacher's name and you'll Zoom, and there'll be a virtual open house, kind of like what we're doing here tonight too as well too. Again, don't write that down, just putting that up there that there are next steps coming up here. And I want to physically say hi to all of our freshmen and their families. And I want to be able to introduce myself and answer questions and make them feel comfortable. So September 3rd is the day that we're going to do that. It's sooner than you think. We're about 45 months away. My math is right. You're going to be a high school graduate. And to a kid, that's an eternity. To an old man, that happens fast. There's actual research on neurons. As you age, they tend to not fire up as well, and time passes faster. 4 years is like that to me. I can't even believe how fast it passed. But it's not that long away. Your son or daughter is going to graduate, and on that day, it is going to be incredible. Just the celebration, the piece of it, that what they've accomplished in 13 years and getting a diploma from our high school, it is going to be a fantastic day. And tonight is step one on that journey to that graduation day. And I guess I'll just end it on this. This is my favorite picture from this year's graduation. I loved it. Peace out. I love that this kid at graduation put it on the back of the mortarboard. And it was their way of saying, I loved it. I had a great time. I'm going to miss you. I'm moving on to the next chapter. That's what I want for every kid in this meeting, every freshman that we have, and every parent. Great times, great memories, and ready for anything. And that's every day what we're here for. And that's why we're here. And I will tell you, you cannot beat our teachers and our administrators and our staff. I've worked in districts all over the state. I've been from places to places. This is a place where they care about kids, and we're small and we care, and we really are invested. The teachers in this community are here because they love this community and they want to be here, and they do amazing work. So I wanted to end the meeting on that note, just letting you know that you're putting your kids in great hands, and it's going to be a great 4 years. And we are here as administrators and as a staff to help you in any way we can. So that's the end of my presentation tonight. How did I do on time? Was that, 53 minutes, not bad. Hey, I was shooting for 45. So I know we may have some questions. I'm going to stop sharing this. And do we have any questions at all in the chat, or anyone like to ask any questions that we have here tonight? Julia, were you looking at the chat?
Yeah, I've been following the chat, and April and I have been responding as they come. So we
Oh,
have.
good. Well, I'm going home then. Good night.
Yeah. So we've responded to most of them. 2 questions have come through just in the last minute or so. And so I'll throw them out there. The first one is, what is student government?
Well, if you remember from high school, how there was every class has its own government, class president, class vice president, class representatives, and then there's the student gov, right? The big, the school-wide student government, and they all work on a student government committee. So it's students that want to get involved in shaping policy and planning, and make a lot of decisions and put on a lot of the programs here at the high school that we do that are very student-driven. So it's just like a student government you had when you were in high school. There's a student government president, there's a class level president, there's class level representatives, a vice president, there's a treasurer, they raise money. The junior class puts on prom for the senior class. And there's a dozen other things I could probably bring up that's not coming to my mind right now. But if that's one tribe that your child wants to get into and gets into student government, that's an opportunity to go ahead and do that. So they do a lot of amazing things.
Okay, the next question is where can we get a copy of the student handbook? So I can answer that. The student handbook can be found on our website when you go to the pinckneypirates.org website. Here, I'm going to put a link right to right in the chat here. You can find it in the documents section of the high school's webpage. And then another question, will a recording of this presentation be made available? It looks like Les has been, or Dr. Sharon's been recording this session, so I imagine the answer to that is yes.
Yeah, I think, if it worked, I was worried about my laptop does not have a remarkable amount of memory. So if it's managed to record this whole piece, I will put it on YouTube. Or I'll have to do it all over again. I don't want to do that, so.
Okay.
So what do you think, Julia? Does that answer almost everybody?
As far as I can tell, I think so. April, did we miss anything? Or anybody else have questions?
Not in the chat. There aren't any more, but.
Well, does anybody want to raise their hand or chime in with a question right now while we can? I'm not sure if we can even, is it possible to do that? Well, I'll tell you what, if you have any more questions, send me an email, or on September 3rd, just walk up to us or walk up to me and ask the question, okay? So I hope you had I hope, we learned some things today. I hope this was a good start. And students, the three of us are really looking forward to meeting you, and hopefully we see you on the 3rd when school starts. And remember, you want to have fun every day you're here, be smarter when you walk out than you walked in, and be safe every minute you're here. So, and we're really looking forward to the start of your high school year. It's really exciting, and it's a lot of fun. And this next 4 years, I think you're really going to enjoy it. Sound good? Well, okay, they turned the air conditioning off here about 4 hours ago, so I'm going to head out. Have a wonderful evening, everybody. We'll see you hopefully on the 3rd, definitely on September 8th, okay? Any questions, just kind of give us a call and let us know, okay? Julia and April, thanks so much for helping me through this. I really do appreciate it. I'd be lost without you, and I think everyone knows that now. So have a great evening, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.